Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope you're having a good weekend. Wanted to touch base with another iteration of making amends, and all told, not too much has been going on with me as far as knives go, or maybe a lot of things have been. We'll see here because my collection has definitely been changing a lot over the last couple weeks. But yeah, had a couple topics I wanted to talk about, and we'll jump right into it. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. The first topic being so Devin and I had started that group, Only Blades Greater Than $250, about a month ago now, and I'm happy to say, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've been traveling a lot, been on a couple of trips where I haven't been able to, solely focus on the group, but it keeps growing. Like, we're over 260 members right now, and we have been trying to run quite a few raffles, and the latest being this beautiful Strider SNG that my buddy Mark kind of put up for uh, for a raffle, and it's going really well. I would say though, like until we kind of build up the numbers with that group, it is kind of hard for people to routinely fork over $25-$35 to enter into a raffle. But it's definitely not lost on me. But we kind of want to keep that top tier, and hopefully people appreciate that. But it's been going really well. Next week we're going to try to it looks like the group, and we've been taking polls, but it looks like people want to look at a Chris Reeve, so not sure what that'll look like yet, but we're tracking, and yeah, we're gonna make it so. The next topic that I want to talk about was an update to my Medford M48. Again, this is, for those of you who did not watch my, maybe it was two making amends ago, but I did have a Medford M48 that I had a trade worked out, and then in the last minute, due to the overgrind on the choil, the person that I was going to trade with backed out, which I don't fault them at all for making that decision. I definitely had some questions as well, but I did end up going through the Medford process for getting work done to your knife, and happy to say it was pretty straightforward. I would say from stem to stern or start to finish, it was about a month, and you kind of go on their website, you pay $20, that includes sharpening, whatever. But I put in the notes that there was some overgrind at the choil with the DLC, and I got back a brand spanking new knife, and it's kind of funny to me because I don't really know what I'm gonna do with it. We'll get into it here in a little bit, but I ended up trading that Medford M48 with the same guy that I had originally started a trade with. But the Medford M48 had a clean bill of health. I just it was kind of a pain in the ass if I'm being completely honest, because I was like, oh man, like I know I'm not gonna be keeping this M48, but going through the process. Medford did really good though. Like I have no complaints about their warranty process, and I think it's important to acknowledge or recognize companies when you go through the RMA process and return a knife for something that was a defect from the factory, and you get it fixed. But we're all good, and I don't know. Kind of the funny thing with that is the same guy that I was going to trade with before, I'm trading with again. And talking to Devin, like I never was married to the M48 after I got it. I thought that it would be a really cool knife, but I realized that I'm not a Medford guy at all. But I ended up trading him for a Hinder Jurassic, which I'm looking forward to getting and reviewing. But one of the more important points with that whole transaction was that Medfords on the whole just have a terrible resale. Like if you love a Medford knife, you see it, you're like, I need to have this thing, whatever. Grab it, but realize that if you do try to trade it or sell it, you're gonna lose a lot of money. Like I would say Medford is kind of like the Mercedes or BMW of the knife world, where it's like, off the lot you're paying out the ass for it. When you go to sell it, you're gonna take a huge hit. So that definitely went into my calculus with this Hinder Jurassic. Historically, I'm not a Hinder fan. I've owned several XM18s as well as other knives that were, designed by Rick Hinder, and I know I'm not a fan, but I'm still gonna give it a fair shake. Like I'm excited to get this Jurassic in hand and kind of see what it can do for me. The next kind of update or topic that I wanted to talk about was just kind of like the state of my collection, because Lord knows, like I did that last kind of my top 3 folders. These are the ones that get the most stick time that I'll hold on to. I've definitely sold quite a few, but what I've been going after, which it hasn't been a secret for a while, like definitely Chris Reeve, like love Chris Reeve knives. I don't know. Like I feel like ever since I made, not even as a joke, but as like a, oh, this will be my ideal EDC, right? So this 31 in Boomerang Damascus, the Knife Art exclusive handle, I kind of made it thinking like, yeah, I like it, but it won't be that great. I love like Chris Reeve, Damascus, etc., and that's kind of been at the forefront of what I've been like trading for or buying. I was able to get this this other Chris Reeve right here. So this one's in Damascus. Haven't reviewed it yet, and it was kind of funny. I was talking to Devin about this too. I was like, if I get all of the same knife, what knife reviews can I do? And it's going to be few and far between, but I will be happy. Got that one, and then I've also really liked Chris Reeve, like what they do with the box elder inlays. So I ended up getting a Chris Reeve box elder in Damascus like that. I have another bog oak on the way in Damascus, and then I have a Sebenza 21 carbon fiber show side in Damascus on the way. So you'll see a trend here. Like I don't know. I hope this channel doesn't turn into like me like going over the, oh man, like the the box elder, the pattern on this is phenomenal. Like it's not ever going to get to that. I promise you, I will not let myself get to that. But I know what I like, and I mean, I've sold. I traded that M48. I ended up selling my Curtis F3, which I ended up getting this Chris Reeve 31 for it. Had to add a little cash on my end for it, but I don't know. Like I'm loving Chris Reeve knives. I'm loving the Damascus blades. I think I kind of found my niche, but it will not impact what you see or the content on this channel. I swear to Bob, like we're gonna keep rolling forward. I also ended up trading more recently, and I haven't owned one of these in a while, but this is a Microtech LUDT, which I've had quite a few of these over the years, but I just kind of wanted to see a newer version of it. So I have this one. I'll be reviewing that one in the hopper, and other than that, guys, like I really am just trying to get Sebenzas with different inlays, but in Damascus, which I realize is probably asking a lot, but I think it's good because I'm not logging on to Facebook and just being like, yeah, I'll try this, I'll try that, whatever. Like I do want to kind of take advantage of the relationships that I've made and being able to test out knives that people already own, and then if they're, if they really blow my skirt up, I'll purchase them. If not, like, cool, I reviewed them. So a lot of changes on my end. Definitely paring down my knife collection, but at the same time, like I'm keeping all the ones that really speak to me and resonate and have a place in my collection. The next topic that I wanted to kind of discuss was just knife storage and kind of pull the group here, like how you're storing your knives. Like I'll post a picture right here of my pouches that I have that I kind of keep in the house, but my gun safe, I actually ended up having to move it out to one of the other buildings on our property, which it's fine. It is what it is. But I found like if I was keeping knives in there, I wasn't carrying them at all. And so I'm really interested to know like how people are keeping their knives. I mean, you could go so far as to display them all the time, which you're also like running the risk of God forbid someone breaks into your house, they can kind of, it's very easy to to grab all of your knives. Like, but so I definitely wouldn't say I'm one of those people that's like, oh, I want to be able to, like, put on display this $1,500 Chris Reeve 31 all the time, but I still want it to be accessible to carry every day. And I really do enjoy and have been using these Chris Reeve slips that come with some of their higher end knives. I know I've posted before, but I have a tactician tray, which I'll kind of just like rest these on there and then grab whichever one I want to carry for the day. So that's definitely been really good. But I'm kind of curious, like, how are people keeping their knives so that they're handy, so that they're used, etc. Because it would be really easy for me, certainly, to throw a really cheap knife on my bedstand, and every day that's one I pick up. But that's not the point of owning all these. Like, I want to pick up and carry them, but I want there to be an easy solution. So would love to know your thoughts on that. The next topic that I wanted to bring up, and since I've gotten into the more high-end Chris Reeves, which I'll just tell you they're high-end because they come with those leather knife slips, was Lockup. And certainly, like, if the Lockup with this 31 in Boomerang that I kind of made, if the Lockup was late, and I'll try to post a few pictures while I talk here, if it was late, it was my own fault, because, I mean, you have a blade from a different handle, a handle from a different blade, etc. Like, I don't have unrealistic expectations, and, like, honestly, this 31 has just been, like, awesome. Like, I've done a great job of breaking it in, of using it. I recently took it to Yosemite with me. I went on a little, like, family trip. I carry this knife a lot, but I did end up taking apart just because I wanted to take the lanyard off of this this box elder. I wanted to put some, like, Loctite on the lanyard pin, because I do like the lanyard pins, but it drives me crazy when they rattle around, and I can say with confidence that they will rattle around unless you throw some blue Loctite on them. Putting this back together, and I don't really remember, like, how it was before, and I know that this thing is, like, brand new, but I don't know. I kind of look at the blade centering when it's closed, and I have this. I've taken apart enough Chris Reeves to know how to put them together. Whatever. The blade centering definitely it favors the show side of this, and not so much that it actually, like, rubs or anything, and maybe it'll just break in, whatever. But I was really curious to know, like, when do people send in their Chris Reeves because they're like, this thing is out of spec, like, it needs to be whatever. I don't even know what you can do, like, different pivot pin, etc. But that was kind of, like, discerning to me, and it kind of took away from my experience of, like, getting this knife. Like, I mean, this thing is absolutely beautiful, but I don't know. There's a little bit too much daylight on one side for my comfort level, and that was also, like, talking about that, going back to the Lockup of my 31 in Damascus that I made. The Lockup on Chris Reeves is kind of all over the place, but I would say from the feedback that I received, a late Lockup with a Chris Reeve is fine. Like, as long as you're not, the lock bar when it's open, as long as it's not touching the show side, you should be okay. But a lot of my Chris Reeves have a very late Lockup, and although, the blade is centered with these, this brand new box elder is definitely favoring that show side. And I don't know, I kind of wanted to get your all's opinion on that, because I'm like, I don't know, like, I paid out the ass for this thing. I did, but I wanted it. When do you get to a point where you're like, this is out of spec, I need to send it in? All right, the next topic that I wanted to cover, and we have two more left, so we're getting to the end of this, but the Chris Reeve Zahn, the Monkey Edge, version. So it's a frag version of the Zahn. I'll try to post a picture right here. I hate giving myself work to do when I edit these videos, but yeah, this Zahn in Magna Cut, whatever, that is the hotness right now. I mean, you see people, and I'm gonna grab my Zon right now just because it's so janky in S45 VN. Having a monkey edge frag pattern Zon and MagnaCut right now, it's stupid. People are paying out the ass for these things, and like I can't foot stomp enough. Like the word of advice that I got, and I've owned knives in MagnaCut, S45, S30, 154C, like everything. I can't tell the difference. And so if you can, like, that's awesome, but I have a sneaking suspicion that like you can't, and it's all hype. Like it really is. So I would say, like, I mean, like anything, Chris Reeve knives, like it ebbs and flows. Certainly Zons are no exception to that. But if you can pick up right now, like if you've been in the market for a Zon, get one in S45 VM, because as I've said in my past videos, we don't yet know the potential of S45 VN. It is such a great steel, but people are like, no, MagnaCut is the hotness. We gotta grab one in MagnaCut. You don't. If you like the Zon design, you're looking for an overbuilt Chris Reeve. I honestly, like, based on my experience with the Incosis as opposed to the Sebenza 31s or 21s, get a Chris Reeve Zon. Like you won't be disappointed. And now I would say is the time to get an S45 since MagnaCut dropped. That's the hotness. I would not spend money on a MagnaCut if I were you, but again, if you got 15, $2,000 you don't know what to do with, then grab one in MagnaCut. But I don't know. That's just my word of advice. Pick one up in S45 VN if you're looking for a hard use folder. You really can't beat a CRK Zon, and now's a great time to buy those in S45 VN. All right, and the last topic that I wanted to bring up was just kind of like hype beast brands or drops in general. And again, my buddy Zach, super glad he let me borrow this J Cape, which honestly was a joy to review. Like I really do like this knife. It has, and I didn't mention it in my video, but it has a really like awesome metallic ping to it when you fire the action. I mean, this thing is all around, I think it's a great knife. But it got me thinking about these like hype brands, whether they're half-face blades or any of the fixed blades half-face blades puts out, etc., whatever. This was no exception, where like, for instance, and bear with me for a second, like if I'm looking up the details on a Chris Reeve Zon, I can go to Chris Reeve's website and I can get everything. Like, I mean, there's more information about this knife than I will ever need to make a review, or most importantly, make a decision. And I've said it in my past videos, but in this day and age, like, a lot of people are buying knives sight unseen on the internet. So you don't have the details, you don't have the hand feel. It's not like you're going into a brick and mortar store and putting something in your hand and saying, yeah, wow, that's the knife for me. All of these, like, these hype brands, something obscene is not excluded from that. You kind of just have to, like, you kind of have to go for it. And that just, it lends me to believe, and no one is talking about this, but it's so true. You don't know what the hell you are buying. You really don't. Like, I mean, the like, whatever, whether it's a preview, whatever, like, you cannot tell me that for $600+ you're making an informed decision on a knife. And that is exponentially worse with brands like Half Face Blades, where the day of or the day before, if you're lucky, they'll drop pictures of what is dropping the next day, but you don't have time to look at the specs, to do whatever. So all of these people are spending $600 to $1,400 based on what a knife looks like, which is like good for those companies. Like, I congratulate you. Like, that's awesome. Like, if you can get away with not listing the specs of something that's over $500 and you're just like, look at this idiot, buy it, you have 3 seconds. Yep, I'll buy it. If you have that relationship with your consumers, you've made it. Like that's awesome, but it is worth mentioning because I feel the same way about this knife, and it's not any different either from, like, I was thinking about the Strider PT, right? When I reviewed that and I was trying to find information on it, this Something Obscene is no different. Any half face blade is no different either. You can't find information about these knives online. So even if right now someone hit me up and they're like, hey, I got this Something Obscene 3.5, like J Cape, I'll sell it to you, whatever. I can't even look up, unless I get lucky on Reddit or something, I can't even look up the stats for this knife, which is kind of troubling to me when, like, great companies like Chris Reeve, right? Like, I mean, you can go on the website and look up every single stat you could want before dropping that amount of money, but it just kind of speaks to us, I think, as a society and, like, hype beasts, blah, 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 like, writ large. People are just buying shit because it's exclusive. Because I can post an Instagram picture with this and be like, hey, you don't have that? I have that. Like, it's kind of crazy, right? And so it just got me kind of, like, thinking about it, where I was like, man, like, I hate that about it. And some of these, like, hype beast companies, and now that I think I'm up to, like, over 100 videos now, those are the hardest ones to look up, because even if you try to look up the stats on a knife after the fact, you can't even find the stats of it, which is, it's crazy to me. It's like it drops and then it's like, okay, it never happened. You can't even look up information on it. And I kind of take issue with that, and it goes into my calculus when I decide what knives I want to buy. So again, sorry that turned into a little rant, but yeah, that's kind of like what's been going on with me. I have no clue what's next as far as my collection goes, what I review, whatever. My buddy Zach, he has a few more knives that I definitely want to check out. Other than that, I'm going to be sending that Arcona Buron to Devin to review. I'm really looking forward to his review on that, because I felt stupid when I reviewed it because I couldn't really find many things wrong with it. Other than that, I do have I'm kind of focused on Damascus Chris Reeves right now, but I do have a Bog Oak version of a 31 in Damascus coming. And then there was a little debacle, which, like, luckily this is another shameless plug. Like, if you have issues with sending via USPS, whatever, like, just have good comms with the buyer and, like, things will be chill. Like, I had this one instance where I'm sorry, this is like an aside right here, this is all bonus stuff. I bought a Sebenza 21 carbon fiber show side Damascus blade from this individual. Good, sent the funds, we're good to go, kind of thing. What ended up coming in the mail, and Devin pointed it out, he's like a sleuth on the internet. He was like, no, like, this is where you got this clip from, whatever. I ended up getting a Millet Damascus clip in the mail, and it was like, what the shit is this? This is not what I paid for, kind of thing. My guy. We ended up working it out. I was able to send the clip to the buyer, but this person, he swapped the address labels. So, buddy over here was expecting a Damascus clip. He would have gotten a, Sebenza 21 in carbon fiber in Damascus, which that would be a good day. But I got this clip and I was like, shit, did I order this? No, I didn't. All right, cool. So I ended up reaching out to him. We ended up straightening it out. This was about a week and a half ago. Still have not gotten this Sebenza 21, but it's in basket, or like whatever their basket weave Damascus 21. Love this knife. I've been very patient, but the guy has had great comms with me. Like, every day he's like, hey, I'm waiting for this thing to come back, etc. He ended up recalling it through USPS, which that might be another topic on my next Making Amends, because we'll see how well it works out. But yeah, I just I don't know, if you have good comms with a buyer or as a seller, etc., like, people are going to work with you, and I really appreciate him giving me, kind of the up-to-date play-by-play. Hey, this is the status. I realize I messed up, but this is where we're at. So when I get that knife in, like, I don't know, I'm gonna be pretty excited. But yeah, I have no idea what's next. If you have any I don't know, you want to pushed me in a certain direction, whatever. Let me know what to check out because I'm kind of at a loss. I'm like, I like Chris Reeves Benzas, and I'm going to get all the ones I can in Damascus. So appreciate y'all tuning in, and yeah, hope you have a good week.